All right, let's get to it. All right, so first and foremost, welcome to the live chat for Fetti Talk. Today is Thursday, July 22nd. Once again, as always, make sure you guys like the channel, subscribe, share, all that good shit. So let's get to it. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, and I always want to keep this under 15 minutes. Good morning, Brody. I gotta give it to Danny. J had better material, but kept stunting. Eh, yeah, I mean, you're entitled to that. I think a lot of people probably agree with that. But shout out to both them niggas. They both could. Oh, y'all hearing it first. Still looking for venues, but we are going to be doing traffic for in the Bay. See you soon, Oakland. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's going on today in the market. It is important. First off, let's go over the earnings calendar. Once again, earnings just means the companies that are going public. I wish people would pay more attention to these earnings days that I speak about because a lot of the companies that I've named off in terms of companies that are doing their earnings have actually gone up substantially since doing their earnings. So make sure you do your research on who's doing their earnings calls because I mean it's a quick lick. It's an opportunity where you can get in straight into some money and maybe even sell the stock the next day. But just the opportunity to catch something while it's hot, that's part of how the stock market shit works. So let's first off go into that because there are some very interesting companies that are going to be doing their earnings calls. Once again, as a reminder, I'm going to do this all the time. The earnings calls is when they do their quarterly calls to their investors to let them know how they did the quarter before. This normally lets people know if they should either keep the stock, if they should maybe add more to it, or if they should just get rid of the shit. So a lot of the more heavy hitters, there's a lot of companies that's doing earnings calls today, so I'm not gonna go over all of them, just the ones you guys are familiar with. Number one is Intel. If you know me, if you follow my Patreon page, which by the way, follow the Patreon page, you will know that Intel, along with Nvidia, along with a lot of these other semiconductor companies, are the companies of the future. So that is something that is very interesting to look into. How did Intel do last quarter? Also, AT&T. One of the reasons why AT&T is important is because they actually own HBO Max. And if you don't know, they have been really pushing for having movies at home along with Disney. So this could tell how AT&T is doing. I seen their stock was down a little bit earlier today, but I also don't know if they announced their earnings just yet. Also, let's see, we have Capital One Financial. Obviously, that's important. A lot of banking companies. Twitter is actually doing their earnings call today. Who else? The Dow, which is obviously part of the market. Southwest Airlines, super important. Fifth Third Bank, Domino's Pizza, who else? American Airlines. I know a lot of people have airline stocks. Watsco, tech company. Cleveland Cliffs, oil company. Once again, these are very, very big companies. Alaska Air Group. Once again, a lot of airline companies. First Financial Bank, Sunoco. Um, and make sure you guys go back over this stuff because these a lot, at least half of these companies I'm going over are going to go up tomorrow just based on what their earnings calls are. So if you look this stuff up and you look these companies up, it's an opportunity where you can buy shares now before they do their earnings call if you know that they're up, and then even sell the stocks tomorrow, but you can turn that little profit just based off the earnings call for today. I mean, common sense, but that's why it's important to pay attention to this. Also, Independence Bank, First Financial Bank. Who else? Let's see. A lot of companies today, and I'm naming off just the popular ones. It is important to make sure you guys do your due diligence on this shit. Um, I think that's pretty much in terms of companies you may be familiar with. Once again, if you want the full breakdown of the companies that are doing their earnings call today, just make sure you go to NASDAQ. They have a complete breakdown of every single company that is doing an earnings call today. And you can also go to these different pages to see how they've been doing. There's telltale signs on each company that I named off to know if they actually did good or if they did shitty last quarter. Just do your research, guys. I'm telling you, this is a game changer. So today, in terms of the stock market, the market is pretty flat today. If you guys remember, today is Thursday, which means that today is the jobless claims. The jobless claims actually went up since last week. It was projected to go down to 350,000. The jobless claims actually went up to 419,000, which means a lot of more motherfuckers went to unemployment. A couple reasons why people are doing this. First off, school is openings in some places, so people are putting themselves on unemployment. Also, this Delta variant of COVID. This is the reason why they say that the jobless reports have gone up, is because in certain places throughout the country, COVID has kicked back in with this Delta variant. Kind of like what I spoke about a couple of days ago as to why the market was shitty on Monday. It was the same thing. They had the quote unquote Delta sell off where people were selling off. If you're wondering why the stocks have been up the last 2 days, is really for the same reason why I told you guys to buy stocks on Tuesday, because people recognized it was a fire sale opportunity to get on stocks while they were cheap, which led to the market going back up. So that is the reason why the market went back up. Nothing changed. It was just that people recognized the opportunity, like I told you guys to recognize that opportunity. So hopefully you guys took advantage of some of these opportunities as well. But I seen an article earlier today saying that the next month is going to be a really pivotal time in the market, simply because there's no telling on how this Delta variant is going to actually go. It could. Biden did say that kids under 12 may have to wear masks again. They're saying that certain states may have to have a mask mandate again. And if these things build up to how, not to what it was last year, but even if it goes to a fraction of what it was last year, a lot of the companies that were doing a little bit better are going to go back down, which from an investment standpoint means that you may have an opportunity to get down on some of these stocks once again while they're cheap. That's really all it comes down to. That's what investment is all about. I don't give a fuck if it's stocks, the dope game, whatever. You buy for the low and sell for the high. So at the end of the day, just keep an eye out for some of the stocks that you might have some interest in. You might see them go down over the next couple weeks, or you could see some of them go up. It just really depends on the industry. Expect tech to go up, because with people coming home, that means that people are going to be in front of their computer. That's where tech comes into play. So that's the stock market. In terms of crypto, because that was the main thing that I wanted to talk about today, Bitcoin. Obviously, we know that Bitcoin has cut basically itself in half over the last few months. We have spoke in detail as to why this is. This is not some, oh, this was just a fad, so it ain't working out. No, we spoke specifically about how China, which was the number one mining area for Bitcoin in the world, shut down Bitcoin. Also, Elon Musk. And just so you know, because we spoke about this before in terms of stocks. When I talk about stocks, I always say the three top people that you always want to keep an ear out for when it comes to stocks is Janet Yellen, which is the head of the Treasury Department, Joe Biden, which obviously is a prez, and Jerome Powell, who's the head of the federal chair. So when it comes to cryptocurrency, there's three other people that you guys should really pay attention to when these guys talk, because they can really move how things go when it comes to cryptocurrency. Um, the first one obviously is Elon Musk. Um, you know, however we want to take it, this guy knows his shit, and he is backing a lot of these cryptocurrencies, whether Saturday Night Live makes you believe that or not. Also, Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey is the owner of Twitter. He's also the owner of Square, and he's also going to be creating a cryptocurrency platform within the next couple of months, maybe years. Um, so he's heavy in the industry. And then the other person that a lot of people may not be familiar with is a lady by the name of Kathy Wood. She actually owns an investment company called ARK Investments, I believe, ARK Investments, and she is one of the biggest pushers for Bitcoin specifically. And actually, she predicts that Bitcoin at some point in time will actually get upwards to 500,000, which I actually believe her. She knows her shit. So when these three people talk, a lot of times it's going to cause movement one way or the other when it comes to Bitcoin. Now, yesterday they had some type of conference call where all three of these motherfuckers was on the call at one time. Now, this conversation was super, super important. First off, Elon Musk. I want to talk about him first. Elon Musk, one of the reasons why Dogecoin went down during that Saturday Night Live shit was because he threw out this little joke saying that Dogecoin was a hustle. Now, depending on how you look at a hustle, how you take that word hustle, it can sound like a scam, or it can sound like something that if you put money into it, it's going to pay out long term. He meant it the other way, but people took it the other way. So the reason why I say this is when he spoke yesterday, he spoke and said that not only is he invested in both Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as Dogecoin still, but he has no intentions on pulling out of any of these things. But also, Tesla and SpaceX is invested into Bitcoin. Now, why does this matter? Now, he actually took away the ability to use Bitcoin as payments for Tesla a couple months ago because he said it wasn't environmentally friendly, we'll just say. Now, this is important because he just said yesterday that Bitcoin is still invested. I mean, Tesla is still invested into Bitcoin. Not only that, that he is planning on taking Bitcoin as forms of payment for Tesla in the future because they are finding new energy renewable ways to actually mine Bitcoin. So when you hear something like that, automatically you have a whole group of people who's going to get behind Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. And that's why, if you notice over the last 24 hours, all three of these things have gone up. A lot of it has to do with this conference call that happened yesterday. Look it up. It's out there for people to see. Jack Dorsey, once again, he is creating a platform. I forgot the name of it, but it is something that's specific to Bitcoin and making sure that you're maximizing your opportunities with Bitcoin. So I would definitely keep an eye out for that. I'm pretty sure once it becomes available, I'm gonna get down with it because Jack Dorsey has a good reputation of being a reputable guy. Now, one other thing about Bitcoin, um, they are creating an ETF. Once again, exchange traded fund, kind of like a S&P 500 for Bitcoin. That's going to be available within, I believe, the next month. Now, once again, once this actually becomes official, what up? Once this actually becomes official, then expect this shit to go up. It's just like if you add a company to the S&P 500, it legitimizes the company. So if you get on Bitcoin right now, once this ETF actually kicks in for Bitcoin, trust me, you are going to make a lot of money from Bitcoin. A lot of money. Plus, the people who were doing the mining in China are leaving China and they are finding mining locations throughout the offshores of China. N- Once again, the mayor of New York, which I don't know how that went. Can somebody tell me from New York if how that mayoral race went? Because the black dude who said he wanted to, who was running for mayor, said that he wanted New York to be the Bitcoin capital of the world. So they are planning to make the United States the Bitcoin mining capital of the world. This is something that I just seen this morning. So these are some really solid reasons why if you don't get on Bitcoin now, you're gonna wish you did in the next month. You think more companies will eventually take Bitcoin as payment? That's huge. Yes, I think companies are already doing it. I mean, Mark Cuban said that he's accepting ways of payment through Bitcoin. Once again, Elon Musk, once he gives a green light, I think a lot of it has to do with the same reason why Elon Musk pulled away from accepting payments through Bitcoin is because they know that mining is not good for the environment. So they're looking for ways to find, you know, energy renewable ways to actually, mine without fucking up the environment. So once that happens, it's going to be legit. And really, what most people are waiting for is for Bitcoin to actually get regulated. Now, for the people who actually first got into Bitcoin because they thought, oh man, well, this is why we're in it because there's no regulations. That's cool. But once it actually becomes regulated and accepted by all banks, then there's going to be a way larger market of people who invest, which means that, you know what I mean? That way. What's a good amount of money to invest in Bitcoin, being that most can't afford to buy the whole coin? That's what fractional shares is all about, EMAC. Invest what you can afford to lose. Remember, these stocks, stocks, investments, these are supposed to be things that you're supposed to invest 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years. Okay, he won. Eric Adams is the black man. He won primary. Okay, so if he wins mayor, which I mean, obviously, ain't no Republican gonna win mayor in New York. He Look it up. He actually stated that he wanted to make New York City the the Bitcoin capital of the world. Do your research on it. If you do your research on it, you know that this is something that he's trying to start kicking into play really, 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 really soon. So that's pretty much it. Once again, EMAC, invest what you can afford. I mean, I never tell somebody to put their whole bag into this. Do what you can afford to lose. Treat it like the club. Treat it like the casino. And if you have that mindset, then you won't put all your eggs in one basket. So I know I threw a lot of information at you guys, but it is important you guys know this. There's going to be a lot of people outside that isn't in this right now that are going to see Bitcoin go up over the next couple of months and be like, damn, man, how'd this happen? Well, now you guys know why it's going to happen. So once again, I appreciate everybody. I will have new content on the Patreon page. If you didn't see the Patreon content yesterday, I dropped a real gem that you guys can get straight to money, not stock related, not investment related, but 2 free classes that if you complete those classes, you can walk straight into a 6-figure job. Real shit. So make sure you guys tap into the Patreon page. I'll have new Patreon content tomorrow. Once again, the live streams are only going to be Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I really try to keep this at 15 minutes, but I want to make sure all questions are answered when they come. So salute to you motherfuckers. Make sure you guys share this. I'll have this available for motherfuckers to share here in about 20, 30 minutes. But yeah, y'all have a good rest of the week, and I'll holler at y'all niggas later.